Hello, my name's Paul Benson from the Financial Autonomy podcast. Recently, I did some research for a blog post on the 7 essential Australian resources for investing in shares as a beginner. And so in today's video, I'm just going to take you through those 7 resources. So the first one is this Dummies article. And they've got a very annoying banner across the bottom there, and whole lots of advertising. It's a bit of annoying, but the content is pretty good, which is Share Investing for Dummies, a cheat sheet, Australian edition. And that's what we're after, stuff that's specific for Australia, because of course there's so much US content around. And so they take you through starting to invest, requirements, finding a broker, that sort of stuff, how to maintain it. It's quite a good piece, very easy to understand, very approachable, and certainly a good place to start. 10 things to remember. I like it. So that's the first one to have a bit of a look at. The next one that I thought was quite good was an article in Money Magazine online. That's by Greg Hoffman, Investing in Shares, a Beginner's Guide. And I should mention too that in the blog post of this, and there'll be a link to it from the YouTube video, I've got hyperlinks to all these articles, so you'll be able to just go straight there. But this is quite a good one, another guide for beginners, but a good place to start. And Greg takes you through a bit about shares, developing a philosophy. It's got a little bit of a different approach to the Dummies one, which is a bit more, I guess, sort of practical and just, the nuts and bolts. Whereas this one is a little bit around your psychology and quite how you'll go about it and how you might be successful as an investor. So another good piece and another good foundation stone to sort of start getting your head in the right place in terms of investment. The next one I've got is to go to the Money Smart website. And this is a site that I refer to a lot of people that I deal with, a lot of clients that I work with. They've got some fantastic calculators, tools. And the nice thing is it's a government site. It's an ASIC site. So no one's trying to sell you anything. It's unbiased. There's no ads popping up all over the place. It's quite good. So they have a section there on shares. And it explains all about what they are, the benefits. It's a bit dry, to be honest, because it is a government site. But at least you're getting good quality factual information. Next port of call is the ASX, Australian Stock Exchange. Not surprisingly, they've got some good material on how to get started investing shares, as you'd imagine. But in particular, they have this shares course, and it's quite good. They have these different modules. There's 11, beg your pardon, in there. The last couple are pretty heavy. I probably wouldn't worry greatly about those, but through to number 9 are very good. They've got videos, and yeah, they're good quality productions. And obviously the stock exchange wants you to buy shares, so I guess there's a bit of bias there, but nevertheless, they've got an interest in making sure that the information that they provide you is of a good quality, and I think they deliver quite well on that. The next one then is 2 actually, but thinking about exchange traded funds, ETFs. So often if you're starting an investment portfolio, and even for experienced investors, we use ETFs a lot for our clients, and I use them myself. They're a really good way to get exposure to investment markets without having to pick individual shares. So as a beginner investor, it's certainly worth your while getting your head around what ETFs are and how they work. And the 2 main providers, Vanguard is one of them, and BlackRock is the other, which we'll look at in a moment. There are other providers as well, so certainly feel free to do some more research, but these are the 2 big guys. And both of them have good educational content. So you can see here, Vanguard, index management expertise, Vanguard ETF's a solid choice. And to take indexing basics, what an exchange traded fund is, there's calculators, there's bits and pieces on the Vanguard website. Similarly, over in BlackRock, they've got what is an ETF, learn more about them, what are the benefits, that sort of stuff. Slightly more polished, I think, in the BlackRock one, but they've both got good content. So portfolio construction, it's really quite good information in there. So certainly Vanguard and BlackRock is a way to just get your head around what exchange traded funds are and whether that's maybe the way you want to go for your, for your investment strategy. Next port of call is at some point you're going to need to open a share trading account, a brokerage account, in order to buy shares. There's lots of different ones. CommSec's the one, look, I've used a bit, but CMC, Macquarie has one. I think some of the other banks have them as well. Again, you decide for yourself, whatever works, but you'll need to open a share broking account. The good thing once you do is most of them will give you access to research, which is pretty cool, because if you had to get the research yourself, you'd have to pay a subscription, whereas you can open an account with the likes of a CommSec or CMC. It costs you nothing to open the account, but then you gain access to their research. So that's quite good, and that's the practicalities of you being able to buy and sell shares, you need an account to be able to do that. So that's what that will facilitate. And the final resource that's quite useful, and really this is useful particularly if you're trying to generate graphs, and that's Yahoo Finance, and you want the Australian version of that. Now, a bit of a trick here is, so for instance, if you go CSL, which Commonwealth Serum Laboratories, right? Very successful company in Australia. It'll actually default to the American one, Carlisle Companies, New York Exchange, I guess that's trying to say. What you've got to do is and it's actually popping up down here, to get anything Australian, you've got to put .ax on the end of it, okay? So, but if you go that, there we go. And usually what I do is pop it up on the full screen. You can see it has quite a bit of data there, what the dividends are and that sort of stuff. And you get a little bit of this in your share brokerage trading anyway, but I just find that the Yahoo Finance one's quite good, easy to use. Why is that not giving us the full screen version? There we go. Yeah, and so then, you can get a chart on, 1 year, different time periods, what it's gone, what it's done historically in terms of price. And you can compare that, like in this instance, that GSPC, that's the US market, the S&P 500. So it's just comparing CSL's share price relative to what the US market's done. And like you can see that in this case, CSL's done a little bit better than the US market over this 1 year period. There's all sorts of other different options you can choose. And as you can see, it's live. As you drag your cursor around, it tells you what the price is. So if you want to do any sort of graphing or just get a sense of, what price has been and is now a good time to be buying, that sort of stuff, Yahoo Finance is a really good resource for that. All right. Well, look, hopefully you find that useful content. If so, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That'd be really helpful. And of course, check out the website, financialautonomy.com.au. We've got a whole lot of different resources and our past blog posts and podcasts as well. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Financial Autonomy podcast. Please keep in mind that the information contained in this podcast is general in nature. Your financial needs, circumstances, and objectives are unique to you. Before embarking on any investment or financial strategy, you are strongly encouraged to obtain professional advice tailored specifically for you. Need some help reaching your financial autonomy goal? Visit the Work With Me page at financialautonomy.com.au to learn how Paul and the Financial Autonomy team can help you succeed.